please tell us about your journey of being a rationalist?
Okay. Let me go back to when I became an atheist.
Sure, sir.
That was at the age of 11 or so. I came to the conclusion that there is no supernatural power, or I mean what you say as God, based on, from what I see now, very badly designed experiments. The result could have gone the other way too. Anyway, I came to that conclusion without having met any atheist in my life or having read any atheist literature. And to put it short, when I grandly announced to my mother, there is no God, you know what she said? She said, "Child, have you seen this truth at such a young age?" So I feel that my mother was a closet atheist, not willing to open up because she was living in an orthodox society. We are born in what we call as the Brahmin caste. And all her friends, all her relatives and neighbors were all belonging to the same caste. So if she had said that there was no God, and if her children had declared that openly, I think everybody would have ganged up on her and said that she's teaching her children that there is no God. So that's why probably she was a closet atheist. Then as I grew, I started reading literature. I started meeting atheists because, as I told you, I did not meet any atheists before I became an atheist. I became an atheist totally on my own. Anyway, meeting, or rather arranging for the meeting with Abraham Kovoor, was because in 1976, those were the days of what we call as the emergency in India. A lot of publicity was being given to these rationalist things because the newspapers were under censorship and they could not publish anything they wanted. But this was a safe topic. So they started giving a publicity to Kovoor, and I had just finished my post-graduation and I wanted to bring Abraham Kovoor to Mangalore. The Indian Rationalist Association, which was arranging for his program, said, "We will not give programs for an individual, but only for organizations." So I started an organization called the South Canara Rationalist Association in 1976. We invited Abraham Kovoor after all the formalities were done. And that was in November 1976 that I met Abraham Kovoor for the first time. Because according to their protocol, we had to go to the place where his previous program was and bring him to Mangalore and then take care of him for all the time until the next program, the organizers of which would come to Mangalore and pick him up. So that was when I met him, and meeting him made me an activist. I should say I was a closet rationalist, but I was declaring that among friends and having discussion. But joining the organized sector, as you can say, of the movement was in 1976 to invite Abraham Kovoor to Mangalore. And then when I met him, saw his dedication, his sincerity, his presentation, and the way he kept the audience spellbound, I decided I will follow in his footsteps. And that's what I've been doing since then. So I think that explains how I met him. I'll send you a photograph of me. You know, a clever in inverted commas press member of the press asked me, "Why is it that a few come to your meetings while there are thousands who flock to the meetings of the so-called God men?" and the so-called spiritual leaders. Abraham Cowood said, if there is a flower, only a few honeybees and butterflies will come. But if there is a lump of excreta on the ground, thousands and thousands of flies and blue bottles will be buzzing around. So cleverly he put these people in their place. Right. Yeah. Now let me go to exposing God-man. We have taken on enough and more of them from time to time, giving challenges, challenging them to do something and show it. And the results have been very extreme. For example, when I expose Nityananda, I think you have heard of that man. His followers cursed me with carcinoma of the penis within 24 hours. And I think I'll give you a link to that too. And I'll give you the screenshot of what they said. And today, Nityananda is missing. Yeah. Now, coming to the exposure of God-man, we started with Satya Sai Baba, the most famous of them all. We gave them enough challenges. We started replicating his alleged miracles, waving my hand in the air like this and producing things, producing vibhuti or the sacred ash, producing rings, chains, and then we challenge him, we will give you a huge donation to your place if you allow us to investigate this one. Only except for cursing and attempts on my life, nothing happened. Otherwise, it's the question of we going to some small-time astrologer exposing him, some small-time claimant of supernatural powers and exposing them, giving them challenges on the media, and then calling them out. It has been this way, that what we think is the best way to expose these people is to do their so-called phenomenon, which they do according to their supernatural powers, and explain the principle behind it and tell the people that there is no such miracle. These are only feats of sleight of hand, or using chemicals, using mental suggestions, things like that. I remember another time when we went to expose the Virgin Mary statues, flex print shedding miracles. There were shedding tears, sorry. There were 5,000 people waiting to attack us. And we demonstrated that, and then some attacked us, they pulled out our flex print. Another time when we went to expose lamps burning without oil, and I'll send you the picture of that. There were 5,000 people again waiting to attack us, because on the day we went, two festivals also coincided, and people who were there for both the festivals ganged up together on us. We have exposed numerous cases of spirit possession, of ghostly phenomenon, like that. It has been going on since decades, and I don't know. After a decade or 15 years of exposing these things, it became virtually impossible for us to do anything. Because the moment we go there, the followers will start attacking us. They'll say, why have you come here? This is only for the believers. You don't come here if you don't believe. So that way they effectively escape from our scrutiny. Some people take up challenges, then they don't appear. So it has been happening like this. that direct confrontations have been very, very few and very, very limited. Mostly it has been us giving challenges, them not accepting it. Right? Yes.
And another question for me. I remember, I forgot his exact name. As I remember, his name is like Basava Premanathan. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it correctly.
Wait a minute. Basava Premanand is his name.
Yeah, so I have seen him even one documentary called the Guru Busters, and I have seen him often in your Facebook and your websites, calling like he's your mentor, he's your idol, like that. So can you tell something about him as well, please?
I call him as my anti-guru.
Yes,
Because if I say he's my guru, he says, no, don't call me guru. I'm anti-guru. So I call, okay, here is my anti-guru. What happened was, in the year 1982, I think, Kaur had passed away by then. In 1978, the movement was not going on. It was in disarray. Because Kaur had this attractive program, what he called as the Divine Miracle Exposure Campaign. And when he passed away, this campaign also sort of was continued by Premanand. And in 1982 or so, a magician in Bangalore said he knows two brothers, Premanand and Dayanand, who can do the alleged miracles of Sai Baba, giving this vibhuti and things like that, and producing watches, chains, rings, pulling carts with hooks through the skin of the back, and all that. So we decided to call them to Mangalore side for a series of programs. The first one was in Udupi, about 60 kilometers to the north of Mangalore. After that, after 2 days, it was supposed to be in Mangalore. The Udupi program and the Mangalore program are also advertised as performance of so-called miracles and magic. Magic by Junior Shankar, who is the son of the magician Shankar. Shankar was in a contract was the employee of a bank, and he was in contract to the bank that he cannot do any magic shows except for the bank. So he was doing the same things under his son's name. So it was a combo. Premanand doing miracles and Junior Shankar, the little 4-year-old boy, doing magic. And in Udupi, we had the miracle exposure program as a procession on the street, pulling a cart with hooks through the skin of the back, beating each other with whips, putting burning camphor on the tongue and all that. And then we reached the venue of the program. Premanand went on the stage, started speaking. He said, well, Om is the sound of reproduction. One sentence. There were 20 people on the stage. They said, how dare you insult our Hindu religion? And all those 20 people had caste marks, shawls, that tufts, and they did not allow him to speak at all. We have come to see magic, not listen to your nonsense, old man. So he was effectively shut up. And then the magic show started, and something it was managed. Anyway, it was okay. For the next program in Mangalore, I told Premanand, you will not speak, I will speak. And that went on quite well. And a day or two after that, a campaign was started in a newspaper in which they said, the rationalists are saying today there is no miracle. Tomorrow they will say no God. For which I gave a reply, why tomorrow? Today itself I am saying there is no God. And that riled the magician. He said, we are magicians. We don't want to hurt the faith of people. So then we decided that henceforward, if we have to have any programs, we will have them organizing them ourselves. We will not have any magicians or anybody else. So then we started organizing them on our own. And Premanand doesn't know the language of Karnataka. He used to speak in English and I used to translate that into Kannada. So after a few of such programs, Premanand said, you know what I'm saying. Why don't you say that in Kannada and then tell me in English what I should do so that we save on time. So I would tell the people that Sai Baba's miracles are all blah, 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 blah. And then tell Premanand, give vibhuti. So he'll give vibhuti. Like that it went on. After a few programs like that, Premanand said, you know to speak. Why don't you learn to do? So I learned to do also. So that started the whole process of me stepping into these shoes of Premanand. And by the time he passed away, he had almost retired from programs because he was suffering from cancer and he was operated. And then the metastasis started. So he didn't live for long. So that's how I started on these programs. Premanand could speak only Malayalam, English, only 2 languages. I can speak 9 languages.
Oh,
People started calling me and Premanand started telling people, call him because he doesn't need a translator. He can speak your language. So that started a growing demand for me. And I learned these things from Premanand, but I had not started these programs. Starting these programs was again an accident. What happened was there was something called as the Bharatiya Jana Vijnana Jata. That was, I think, in 1980. That was, I think, somewhere around 1990. In Mangalore, when this Jata was coming, we wanted to gather people, around more than 1,000 people in the town hall of Mangalore. So how to do that? So the committee for organizing it, which was, the president of which was my teacher, Dr. K.V. Rao, a physics professor, he told us, see, you do something, right? Giving vibhuti and putting trishul through your tongue and all that. Why don't you do this? Go to some extension, do that, attract the people. Then we do a science program. And then we tell those people, more of such things will be there, come to the town hall on this. So I had a few things in a small bag. We were going and doing a few of these things. The people would come, they would watch, they were interested. Then we would tell them, see, these are a few things that we are doing. There are more things on the way. That will happen on this date. You come to the town hall. That appointed day came. This was what we call as a jatha, a road show, starting from Chennai, going around Kanyakumari, and then coming to Mangalore. This was supposed to come to Mangalore at 10 o'clock at the town hall. 10 o'clock. No vehicle. These people are not to be seen. And there are 1,000 people gathered in the town hall. Dr. K.V. Rao told me, all these people are gathered there. You are doing something. Go and do that and keep them engaged. I had a small bag with 10 things in that. So I took it to the stage, started doing these things one by one by one by one. The 10th is over. I don't have 11th to do. And this road show has not come. I don't know what to do. I told people, if you have any doubts, you ask. Some people asked doubts. Some questions were over. Yet the road show is not there. And I was getting panicky. Suddenly I heard the sound of those drums and the road show has come. Oh, poor man, you are saved, I thought. But what I thought was a very poor show had impressed these people so much that there was a 2-day workshop after that. And I was supposed to speak on something else. But Dr. K.V. Rao told me, you do this and also speak on that. So I took 1-hour programs in. So that was the beginning, and then there was no looking back. Now I can speak for 7 days, do the items. Now our format has changed. We started what we call as a workshop on explaining the so-called miracles. Thousands of such interactions have happened. Hundreds of training programs have happened. Thousands of people have been trained and millions of people have been reached. We start with these things because this is the basic step.